What is this? Lu Ming was a little confused. Have you been fooled by Brother Cat? No, he carefully studied the pattern on the back of the card, and there was no problem. It's exactly the same as in the design drawing. Strangeness. Lu Ming was very confused. I tested it with Fruit Ninja last time and there was no problem at all, so why did I fall to my knees this time? Moreover, the texture on the back is obviously good, why is it like this on the front? Strangeness. Could it be that the front card surface is energy rendered, and when it encounters lightning cracks, it gets stuck and cannot be rendered to other parts? It seems to make sense, but it's far-fetched. Something feels wrong. Lu Ming fell into deep thought. The original card that was bitten by Brother Cat seemed to be different. The original card. The card surface. Segmentation. Rendering. The thoughts in Lu Ming's mind were like lightning. He began to look for some information about cards on the internet to supplement professional knowledge, whether it was high-level or low-level, whether it was textbooks or rumors. He was looking for something relevant. It was naturally impossible to see lightning cracks or anything like that, but he saw an advanced technology, segmented encapsulation. Because some abilities are too powerful, advanced card makers have created the technology of segmented encapsulation. As the name suggests, this ability is encapsulated several times and then integrated together. This technology is very powerful and very scary in the high-end field. In rumors. It can even encapsulate some forbidden spells that the casters themselves dare not cast. It can be forcibly released through this special method, and the power is amazing. Certainly. This is an area that Lu Ming cannot touch at all. It's just. It brought some inspiration to Lu Ming. Perhaps. Does this lightning crack have the effect of segmented encapsulation? Packaging in sections. Lu Ming suddenly became excited. Sand. Sand. He once again made a Savage Crash card. This time, he activated this attack card and released it directly towards his original card. Release the original cards that have encapsulated abilities. If there were other card makers here, they would definitely call Lu Ming a madman. The reason is simple, the original card can only encapsulate one ability. If the ability in the original card is not dissipated and is forcibly sealed, it will only detonate the energy in the original card, causing damage to both the card maker and the original card. Boom! A bull beast with condensed energy appeared and rushed towards Lu Ming. The moment it rushed to the original card, Lu Ming gritted his teeth and activated the original card's ability. Seal up! Buzz! A strange energy flashed through. The lightning-like crack seemed to light up slightly at this moment. Then, Lu Ming watched helplessly as the virtual image of the bull disappeared in an instant, exactly the same as the last time it was encapsulated. Succeeded? Lu Ming couldn't believe it himself. You know, he was already prepared to be injured. Who would have thought? It actually worked. Thinking of this, he hurriedly looked at Yuan Ka and trembled all over. In the original card. There was originally only one card surface with energy rendering on the front, but now it has 2 blocks, and the remaining 5 blocks are still blank. And on the back. The original simple texture has actually changed. There were originally only 68 lines, but they turned into 108. Moreover, the thickness and strokes of the lines were completely different from before. More complex. More cumbersome. What's happening? Lu Ming was shocked. It seems that 2 brutal collisions merged together. Then this card. He was a little confused. After looking at the information, I seem to have never heard of it. 2 people colliding wildly can still fuse together. I have never heard of such a fusion method. Lu Ming was a little confused and decided to make it first. He carefully studied the 108 lines on the back of the card. Although the lines looked more complicated, they were still the basic lines. Still within the capabilities. Let me give it a try. After Lu Ming became familiar with the more difficult textures inside, he quickly started making it. Only. Somewhat surprisingly, the energy in his body was completely insufficient. He relied on energy stones to replenish it, which was enough. The energy contained in this card is as high as 80 points. Buzz. Successfully produced. The white card in your hand transforms. From the surface, it seems that only the phantom of the ferocious beast on the front looks more solid, and there is almost no difference. Try it. Lu Ming grabbed the card in his hand and threw it out. Boom. The brutal collision occurs again. However, what is surprising is that the ferocious bull beast that appeared this time actually turned into two. One after another, two ferocious bulls charged forward fiercely. The first one dissipated after the collision, and the second one hit immediately. Boom. Boom. Two loud bangs. A big hole was made in the wall. Quite amazing. This power seems to have increased a lot. The number of bulls increased from 1 to 2, and they rushed over one after another, making it difficult for people to guard against them. Incredible! Lu Ming was shocked. He looked at the original card in his hand. Due to the lightning cracks, the surface of this card seemed to be covered by a bolt of lightning, which was very strange. In the past, he always felt ugly. But now, for the first time, he felt that the lightning was so wonderful. Fusion. This is far beyond his knowledge. At least, he had never heard of such an amazing thing in academic forums. That black cat. Lu Ming was a little frightened. He knew that its identity might be far more mysterious than he imagined. For a long time, Lu Ming finally calmed down. In any case, this original card has been transformed. This is a great opportunity for him. Well, let's just think of it as Black Cat's rent. From now on, let me call you Lightning Original Card. Lu Ming looked at the original card in his hand and became energetic. He was curious. Now that two Savage Crash can be fused, what about more? He tried making it again and released it against the original card. Surprisingly, the third Savage Crash was actually integrated into the original card. 3 of them. The original card was divided into 7 irregular parts by lightning. Lu Ming thought silently in his mind, in other words, it should be possible to fuse up to 7 cards. 4. 5. Lu Ming keeps making. Soon, all 7 cards are filled. There is no longer any blank space on the front of the original card. Done. Lu Ming was delighted. The 8th picture. Lu Ming was ready to dodge this time before he activated it. The original card passed far away to absorb it. At the moment of failure, the whole person had already moved away with the original card, making the attack of the 8th card in vain. Sure enough, we can only fuse 7. Lu Ming understood. Lightning original cards can be fused with up to 7. However, just because you can fuse 7, it doesn't mean you have to fuse 7, like now. Lu Ming found that he couldn't understand the fused lines in the original card. The 7 Savage Collision fusion cards have extremely complex lines, with a total of 300 lines appearing densely on the back of the cards. Both the complexity and fineness of the lines have reached a new peak, and any failure will cause the texture to collapse. The difficulty level is very high, far beyond the level of a 1-star card maker. Lu Ming's first production failed. Too difficult. 300 densely packed lines were all on the back of the small card, and energy was vaguely visible. With his rough brushwork, it was impossible to draw it successfully. I'm so anxious. Lu Ming sweated profusely. I was just enjoying myself and forgot to look at the texture on the back. But there is no high-end technology. It's all basic. Lu Ming confirmed again. 300 lines are all the basis. Just because it is more delicate and precise, the error tolerance rate is extremely low. Any mistake in one stroke may lead to failure, and the difficulty factor will rise. This is a good opportunity. Lu Ming said. A basic card with 300 lines was unheard of. Because generally when the textures are more than 150, or more, card-making techniques, texture intersecting, etc. will be used, otherwise it will not be possible to draw at all. But this original card? The road goes dark. 300 textures, all basic textures. No crossover. This is the scariest place. How can 300 lines be squeezed into this small card surface without intersecting? More precise. Better. At this point, even the school's top textbooks don't have similar cards. In a sense, the basic texture of this card is the best. The best. Lu Ming's heart was burning. Although he did not have the opportunity to receive systematic teaching, now he is fortunate enough to have access to the best textures. Learn. Lu Ming's eyes were firm. These are the foundations of foundations. 300 lines. Lu Ming began to learn one by one. The precision and curvature of each line were slightly different, and the requirements for energy control were also different. Sand. Sand. One stroke at a time. Lu Ming was completely immersed in it. Once. 3 times. 10 times. 3 days. Apart from sleeping, Lu Ming spent almost all of his time studying. He is writing more and more neatly now. From the roughness at the beginning to the fineness now, to the end, the lines drawn by Lu Ming were clean and tidy, with no trace of clutter visible. One stroke. One stroke. Like flowing clouds and flowing water. Another day. Lu Ming got up early in the morning. He had to make cards very late yesterday. 80%. Lu Ming felt peaceful. He has already learned 80% of the textures of this complex and precise card. As long as he learns the last 20% of the textures, he can make this card. A mysterious and powerful one-star card. A card that far exceeds its own power. How about thanking some black cats? Lu Ming felt that he should remain in awe of powerful creatures. Then, with a thought in his mind, he entered the sea of consciousness, and then he saw a long black creature slumped on the cushion, grinding something in its mouth. That appearance seemed to be. Lu Ming looked at it, and his eyes suddenly widened. Fuck pear girl. Isn't that your original card? Black Cat actually uses his original card to grind his teeth.